Hello everyone and welcome. This is Emily Kimmy with EMK Creations. Today I am going to be showing you our masking paper and talking to you about blending brushes with it and just going over some different tips and ideas. So this is the card that I had just done in a class. I did a technique class last week and we made this one, so I'm going to walk you through how I did this and talk to you about it, but also give you at least one other way that you can use your masking paper. So if you've never used it, it comes in a pack of 12 sheets like this. It is designed to be, it's like a sticker sheet. It's, adhesive, but the idea is that it's not permanent. You can peel it back up. And so what I did for this particular one is I cut out this die shape. So I used my die and cut that out. Now you have this piece too that you can hang on to and you could use in a different way. You could use it for the opposite effect if you wanted to. One of the things I'm going to mention or point out about this masking paper is, yes, it's designed to be pulled off, but it is still pretty sticky. So what I recommend doing is trying to get some of that adhesive off, some of that stickiness off. So sticking it to your hand. I've seen people do it on their clothing, again, to kind of take away some of that stickiness because, as I learned kind of the hard way, if you don't and you just put it straight down, it can possibly tear your cardstock when you go to lift it up. So again, I'm just kind of doing a few different things here to make it a little less sticky, and I tore it, but that's okay. You are just going to then take it. I have my 3 3/4 by 5 piece of basic white cardstock here, and I'm just going to take this and go for a relatively, oh, actually, I think I might have cut my cardstock to 4 by 5 1/4, but I cut down my masking paper piece smaller than that because this card, when I made it, I matted it on this size cardstock. So you can do it however you want, but again, I'm just going to walk you through how I did this, so it's something you can trim it or do whatever size you want. So I picked 3 colors. I've got Azure Afternoon, and then I've got Darling Duckling, which is one of our in colors, and Pretty in Pink. So those are the colors that I picked for this one. So if you, and you can do this in any order you want. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the Darling Duckling and do the middle part. But if you've not used blending brushes before, the biggest tip is to, you're going to tap it on your ink and then start off of the page a little bit, because it was referred to on stage as bruising, and that is kind of a really accurate and good description. If you stick it right on there, you're going to see how it'll often be darker and kind of give you a bruise. I mean, again, that's kind of a really good way to look at it. So I just added some ink there in the middle, and now I'm going to do my pink. Same thing, start off the side and then bring it in and add that color. And you really can't do it wrong. I mean, you're gonna go ahead and blend it together over the area where the other one is. You can let them blend together, which also can kind of give you a different shade and look. And now we're gonna do our blue, our Azure Afternoon. Same thing, come in from the bottom and start adding that color. I just love these colors together. Very tropical looking. And what I had used on this, and you can keep going and add as much or as little color as you want. What I had used was Boardwalk Fun. Again, I thought it was a great, like with these colors, kind of beachy theme and idea. And so I put all 3 of my palm trees on one stamp that I did here. And then I stamped before I pulled my masking paper away. So I would definitely suggest that ink it up. We're just gonna ink up our palm trees. And then, like I said, I went ahead and stamped before I pulled it up. So that way, I also can make sure that my tree trunks, I guess you would say, are within the range of that. And then you can come back and do your, I did Hey Sunshine. Again, I thought it worked very well with this card. So I can get that on there too. So then comes the pulling up of, and like I said, you want to go slow. And you'll notice that because I did cut it longer than my masking paper, I did end up getting some along the edge, which could look really cool, or I can just trim it. So that would be a reason to make sure that your masking paper fully covers what you do. And then you're just gonna slowly, carefully, gently peel off your masking paper, because that is what is going to give you that really crisp look around where you did your coloring. And you can tear it from here if you want, so that you have a smaller piece you're working with, however you want to do it. And then you're just going to throw that away. That is done. So again, just, get this back in the camera, sorry. You're just gonna peel all the way around. And look, see, again, our stems then are on there. So there you go. And this looks cool, but I can also trim it down because here, like I said, it was slightly smaller. I made it so it fit on there. So that is how I did this particular look. I love how clean and crisp it looks when you do that. The other thing I was gonna point out is another idea you can do is take a large stamp, or any size stamp honestly, that has a big image, and then you could just get yourself a piece of your masking paper and cover up a section of it, and then this would get inked up and stamped, and then when you pull this off and then do your stamping, you're going to end up with a nice spot in the middle where you would not have the image, so it would be clean, and you could add a sentiment there. So stay tuned for a sample using that, but it was just another idea I wanted to give you for how you could use your masking paper. So I recommend add this to your cart. Get yourself some and try it, because you can do it with all different colors, all different ideas. You also can use it if you ever have tried to mask where you want to take an image and you want to put the other images on top of it, but you don't want this image to be on top of this one, if that's making sense. You can stamp and then stamp your image on masking paper, cut it out, put it on there, stamp again, so that it's only going to show up next to it, because when you pull that masking paper away, it protected that particular image. So lots of different ways that it can be used. So let me know what you think of this, if you've tried it before, and I always love to see what you've created. So until next time, happy stamping.